our society, a woman who is overtly sexual is considered a venomous bitch or someone to be feared. So what I like to do is sort of take the traditional sort of overtly sexual, like, bimbo image and turn it around and say, well, yes, I can dress this way or I can behave this way, but I'm in charge. And, you know, I call the shots, or I know what I'm doing. I like to talk about safe sex in my shows, or somehow mention it in any way I can. Because I have such a youthful following and a very large gay following, that since I have that ear, that it's very important for me to be a spokesperson in a way. So much of my work is about sex, because sex is the reason for everything. I mean, I said it in my show. That's why I'm here. Because my parents had sex. And everything that we do, you know, is sort of geared to that, or about that, or I mean, sex makes the world go round. I was exorcising myself of the guilt of the Catholic Church, meaning in the Catholic Church, sex is considered sinful unless you're married, and masturbation is certainly considered sinful. So first I was, you know, I placed myself in a sexually dominant situation with men waiting on me, and I was masturbating. I know it was all fine until I started masturbating, and then when I started to do that, the men went away, everybody went away, because they couldn't deal with my sexual explorations or whatever. God? And then the voice of God appeared, and the crucifix came down out of the ceiling, and then I was in a church, and I was now going to have to be punished or go to confession and deal with the male authority figures, whether that's my father or a priest or the Pope or whatever. So it was to create drama that I did it. The Vatican were, like, hearing about my show, and they were all upset about it, and they were putting all this propaganda in the newspapers about my show and just how blasphemous it was, and it was all by people who hadn't seen the show. And I was enraged, completely enraged, because how dare they judge it without seeing it.
Don't talk. If you talk, I will stop speaking, all right?
Se parlate se ne va!
Allora.
Allora.
Ready?
Ready?
Ready. I'm an Italian-American, and I'm proud of it.
Sono un'italo-americana e ne vado fiera.
Basically, the statement was about freedom of speech and freedom of expression, artistic expression, and how important that was in society. Because if you don't have freedom of speech and expression, then you're basically living a fascistic life, and I mean, then really there's no reason to live if you can't say what you want to say. And my show, I really saw my show ultimately as a piece of theater that provoked thought and sort of took you on an emotional journey. I see happiness, I see sadness, I see sorrow, I see joy, I see, you know, religious passion, and I see overt sexuality, I see, you know, all these different things, and I was describing life. I wasn't saying you should live your life this way. I was presenting my point of view. But ultimately I saw my show as a celebration of life. Would I consider running for office? No, because I've had too much sex. You're not allowed to have sex and run for office. So I don't think it's a possibility.